Welcome to Thursday Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My name is Jessie Ott, the host of this podcast, which is all about beverage innovation. I talk with innovation pioneers from agriculture to glass. Thank you for listening, and be sure to subscribe to be notified of all new episodes. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Thursday Thursdays. I am Jessie Ott, and I have a good friend of mine, Christy Serrato, founder of PairAnything. Hello, Christy.
Hi, Jessie. I am super excited to be talking to you.
I'm so excited you're here. We've been talking about this for a year, and you've had so many exciting things. I believe a year ago you were enrolled in Techstars, and I've been there, done that, so I know how intense it is and the commitment that it takes and all the great things that come from that. So super pumped we were finally able to get you on the show. So where are you calling from?
I'm here in beautiful California, in Davis, where I went to school, and also where I got my start with PairAnything. This community has supported me with my early start and continue to support me in terms of the connections to the wine industry.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So where are you originally from?
Gosh, that question is always interesting. I can say that I was born in the Philippines, and in fact, it's kind of interesting that my heritage has played a role in inspiring PairAnything and what I could do to bring inclusivity to the wine industry. But I have traveled around, 54 countries. But in terms of like where I grew up, it's California, the San Francisco Bay Area. It's the reason why I'm very excited to bring my career in technology to be able to help this industry that I'm very passionate about, that I feel is lagging in adopting technology, but also experiencing challenges with the demographic shifts, the changing consumer behavior, and how do we help particularly the small producers in this industry that make up 80 to 90% of the producers in the United States.
Nice. All right. So you grew up in
San
the Bay
Francisco?
Area.
That's correct.
So
San
you went to high
Francisco,
school in San Francisco?
Mercy High School.
Wow. So is that weird seeing all the changes that are happening in San Francisco?
Yes, it's a little bit, I would say, heartbreaking because you can look at it from technology lenses, political lenses, social lenses. And I realize that for us, I learned to adapt and evolve, because if you continue to compare how it was when I grew up, when I was going to private school, Catholic school in San Francisco, that's of a different time. And even when I moved back after college, it was also different. So I guess what gives me some perspective is how we have to adapt and evolve. And it's, the city or, the area that I'm at, whether it's the Bay Area or Davis, Sacramento region, I look at it as a Northern California innovation hub. It is what you want to make it. It really is what you make of it. And I look at it as, the way we move forward, I have 100% faith that it's through applying technology, particularly AI, to realize, productivity, to address how things are changing, to be able to not miss out.
Okay. Nice. And where did you go to college? You got out of San Fran for a while?
Yes, and it ties to where I am now. I went to University of California, Davis, and I did not know that I would be back here in this town of Davis, but I'm very proud because they've been a very supportive community. And of course, UC Davis is pretty world renowned with its connection to the wine industry.
Yeah, for sure. Well, just think of all the people that have come and gone through there and then all the outreach. So what degree did you get there?
It wasn't viticulture and enology, although in hindsight, I wish I did that. I majored in economics. What was nice, though, is a lot of my friends were from winery families, and that's how I got introduced to it. And, coming from a Filipino background, I didn't grow up in wine. It wasn't on our dinner table. Yet it's when I started traveling and being around more diverse people and trying diverse cuisines that I really immersed myself that wine and the culture of wine, it's intriguing, but also it enriches me, right? I knew that. And enjoyment is very much tied to be able to pair wine with my cuisines. And I'm looking at it from a broader view of like many cuisines. Because most of us, honestly, I don't know anyone that just likes one cuisine, right? We're all more and more multicultural. And that's something that the industry also has to acknowledge, that consumer behavior, consumer tastes are evolving. The industry needs to look at people like me, people like you, people that are up and coming. And how is the industry going to be able to market to us, to be able to provide us this inclusive view around wine? The only way that I can think of, Jessie, to be honest, is to be able to provide personalization. And that's why I'm super excited that this industry that we're in, it's an exciting time. I know we hear a lot of the doom and gloom and people drinking less, but this this beverage has been around for what, 8,000 years?
Yeah.
It's something that's been only, right? And it's been enjoyed along with food. And so to me, my
Yeah.
aha moment was like, okay, well, why not enjoy it with the diverse cuisines? That I think helps us be more inclusive, creates enjoyment. And now consumers can then trust what they enjoy because of the personalization. And it creates more customer loyalty and connection to the brands that want to reach out to a broader consumer audience.
Okay. Yeah, I love it. So once you graduated in economics, what did you do? Like, what was your journey like?
Well, I went the natural, traditional route in banking, and I did various roles. And interestingly enough, I got into making decisions, credit decisions specifically. And I'm glad I did that because that actually gave me a foundation for doing decisioning with PairAnything, food and wine pairing decisions. So as a banker, I learned about all the different data inputs from the user plus external data that's available, and to be able to build a model that's fair and provides a decision with accuracy. Once I went into banking and was creating decisioning models, that gave me an entryway into doing enterprise software. And more recently, before I started PairAnything, I was securing online banking. And that really gave me a deeper expertise in various technologies, being able to integrate with different systems, and also making sure that my specialty was particularly identity assurance. I was able to specialize in getting to know who that user is or that customer, and making sure that all the experiences in that software is personalized to that user. In the case
Okay.
of banking, it's protecting, making sure there's no hackers. But in the case of PairAnything, it's the personalization of that experience with that software.
Okay. And so did you start Pair Anything as a banker?
No, it's really happenstance. So I went from banking, like I said, to doing enterprise software, and then cybersecurity or online banking security. It was just really happenstance. I did not had it in my mind to start PairAnything. Really, the catalyst for it was more personal. I left the Bay Area. I moved to Sacramento area to be with my parents. And I would say that was my last role, was to be caretakers for my parents. And I was in my mom's kitchen, and she happened to be making my favorite Filipino dish, chicken adobo. And you can imagine, like anybody with their favorite dish, you could smell the aromas. In this case, it was chicken immersed with vinegar, soy sauce, garlic, Bailey's. And I had this thought, like, okay, I'm just going to grab some wine to go along with this Filipino dish. And then I was lost. I did not know what would pair with that. And I called my friend who's a sommelier, and we had a long discussion. Even at the time I tried to Google it, I realized that there aren't that many pairing suggestions for non-traditional, non-European cuisines. And I felt really passionate about that. I said, like, okay, I have some time. Let me explore it. And that was really the start. And I was very thankful that my alma mater, University of California, Davis, happened to have a pitch competition. And I did that. So I pitched an idea, really a hobby idea at the time. And wow, I won. And it gave,
It's awesome.
so you, so parenting got started with seed money from UC Davis through a pitch competition with $10,000. And that's how I got started.
Wow, $10,000 is a lot of money for a startup.
Especially for a scrappy startup where we just try to be as resourceful. As you know, being a woman of color founder, we may not have as many funds available to us, yet you learn to figure things out. You learn to lean into your community, find
Yep.
whatever help and resources that you can, and you just continue moving forward.
Right. Yeah. No, I hear you. Absolutely. So once you got this money, like, what did you think? Like, what were you just like, okay, I'm gonna do this? Did you think about it a little bit more? Like, what was the next steps?
Well, it was in a bit of days. I didn't deposit it for a month, yet I got I got a lot of press because of the UC Davis connection, right? I'm so grateful for the wineries in the Sierra foothills of California because they reached out to me. And to this day, we have the same customers who are early adopters that are still with us. And so they were curious, like, how can we use technology to reach out to our customers? We know our customer base is changing. How do we stay connected with them? So we both had an idea that technology can play a part in connecting to more consumers. What was nice about our approach with PairAnything being very customer first is we co-created with those early adopter wineries. And that was like right during the pandemic. So there were even more craziness that was going on that we had to navigate. Yet
Yeah.
it was
But what
great
a
to
great
have,
idea for the right time.
for sure. And also it's important that those early adopter customers that you have are aligned with your vision and also have that foresight to co-create with you, because what started as a hobby idea now has transformed into something that the industry needs around hyper personalization to be able to craft recommendations based on our individual preferences.
Yeah. Okay. So phase one was you already had all these wineries that wanted to connect with you as an early adopter. So who did you go to or turn to do the creation and the back end of the software?
What's nice when you have a career in technology, you develop a lot of friends and colleagues that know these things. I used to say I'm not a technologist. I've always come from the business side of it. Through PairAnything, I've become more technology savvy. Yet I couldn't do it alone without some friends. And particularly in my first startup, eFinance, which was an early fintech back in the 2000s, I leaned on those people that know a lot about software development, particularly, enterprise software, cloud services, and building these web apps using, React, all these different technologies. And I learned along the way with them. What was nice though is I had a pretty robust network that I could ask someone and they really figured it out. And what was nice is anytime that I asked for something, they're able to help me. And to this day, they're continuing to help me. So deeply grateful for having that tribe.
Yeah, for sure. Because I know what it's like to create that tribe. It can cost a lot of money, and maybe not. You know.
Absolutely. And in fact, I do like to pay forward in a sense that I do mentor a lot of aspiring entrepreneurs. And I always tell them not to build anything, to actually go out and find your customers first and ideally co-create with your early adopters and then build from there.
Yeah, I should have done that a little. I should have done a little bit better job of that, but that's okay. The
We're all
product is
learning.
here.
Exactly. However you got it, you're there.
We're there. We're there. Okay, so what's the next phase of that then? What kind of testing did you start doing?
We never had a perfect product. I was always a little bit embarrassed that, oh, I wish I could have done this. I wish I could have done that. I just learned to move fast. Again, it was, during the crazy times of the pandemic. And then since then, we would just release it when it's like 60 to 70% there. And we would ask our customers to give us feedback, or we would just know. And then from there, we would make our improvements. So it's continuous iterations. Mm-hmm. And what I like about that is we never overbuilt or over engineered anything. And we always had the customer top of mind when we're making any development decisions.
Okay. And what was your market that you were going after at the time? Was it restaurants? Was it retail? What was your first thought?
You read my mind, Jessie. We were like, I would say all over the map, because when you're starting out, you think the whole world is your customer base. And we did that. We went after the small producers, the wineries, restaurants, wine shops, retailers, really anyone that would talk to us who are in the wine industry. And the accelerator that we were part of, you mentioned Techstars, they really helped us focus on identifying your ideal customer profile. And first we thought, well, because we got into Target and other retailers, we thought they were our ideal customer profile. But then we have to follow who is paying us to solve their pain point. And we went back to the very beginning, that it's actually the wineries that are hurting the most, that actually needs the support to be able to navigate the difficult industry shifts that's happening. And so even though we were helping them in the retail store, it wasn't the retailer that we're focusing on. They're just like a channel. They're the partners of the wineries. And so time and time through experiments, we realized that, yes, we could use our software at the wine shop like Bevmo. We could use our software in the restaurants, but where we see our best fit are with small, medium-sized wineries, even larger wineries that sell multiple channels like direct-to-consumer, as well as their, in the 3-tier system uh, through their retail distribution. And we've been able to demonstrate that we can increase sales up to 250% through the use of our software to be able to align them of the consumer preferences and what is trending for that consumers in those stores.
Can you walk through the technology or software that you're providing the retailer
Yeah.
and how it kind of works?
So imagine I'm a shopper at my local store, and you'll see a PairAnything kiosk in the wine aisle. And why that's intriguing, because before that, like, you can go to any grocery store, they may or may not have a wine steward. If they have a wine steward, that's great. Very knowledgeable person. But even with a wine
But they're not
steward,
always there.
well, yeah, so they're not there, right? And so then what?
Fewer and fewer now, too, I feel like.
Especially with a labor shortage, right? And so I'm looking at hundreds and hundreds of wines. And the way the grocery stores organize the wines by country, by varietal, does not necessarily make sense for the consumer and how we shop. I have a shopping cart for what I'm going to have for dinner, chicken, some vegetables. Who's going to help me pick out a wine, right? And so I realized we can help create this connected experience where we just ask a few questions, and you go up to the kiosk now and you could take a wine quiz, very short. It's personalized, and then you get recommendations. And the recommendations are not generic. What you get are wines that are sold in that store. It's an opportunity for wine brands to stand out in the grocery aisle, but it's also an opportunity. It's an opportunity for the retail stores, not just to help their wine partners, but to create upsell and cross-sell increases for that shopper. We know from one of our grocery partners that if you have wine in a shopping cart, it increases the shopper spend by up to 65%. So it's a great win-win opportunity for the wineries who are our customers to also help their retail partners, where it's always a struggle, given that there's slim margins. It's always a struggle to stand out in the grocery aisle when these wine brands have to compete with some of the larger brands with larger marketing budgets. Now, with PairAnything, they have a competitive edge. It's digital, so it's definitely a lot more cost effective. Plus, they actually have the added benefit of having the consumer data and insights that could help them even personalize the whole marketing of that wine.
So I'm a shopper and I've got, like you said, chicken and vegetables. And so I go up to this kiosk and I put in my food and what I'm having for dinner, and it'll output like examples of what wines would go good with that dinner.
Yes, exactly.
That's really cool. So I guess you created a database in the back of the software for all the pairings of all the flavors, and I'm sure you've got all the different cuisine types as well, the ethnic and regular.
Correct. And it was kind of our unique approach because we started helping wineries with their direct to consumer. We were able to consume all these different varietals, particularly in California. Now we've expanded it so that we can handle any varietals because we're looking at the wine attributes, right? And then we also work with some chefs and some food experts to look at the food side. And then we crowdsource a lot of information and then analyze it to look at the different combinations. And then
Crowdsource. What do you mean? What did you do?
we web scraped a lot of sites that have recipe pairings. We were given a huge amounts of database from our retail partners. And so we were able to consume a lot of those information regarding the wines, plus some of the food suggestions. And that was the basis of our model. And from there, we've been building up from it and adding machine learning to improve the recommendations.
What are you using for machine learning?
Well, from the very start, we're on AWS. And
Okay.
we've been very happy with that. Obviously, we're open to new technologies. We like to keep things simple, honestly. A lot of things that we do, we could definitely make it more sophisticated, but we only go as fast and as advanced as our customers. We don't want it because we're operating on the basis that the industry that we serve, yes, they may be low tech, but really it's not about over engineering something. It's all about solving a problem. And the smallest denomination of a solution that you can to solve that problem, the better, because you can move quicker. You don't require a lot of resources. So you can have a longer vision of having an AI powered recommendation platform, which is what we're building towards. But we're trying to be customer first. If we can solve it with the smallest amount of technology, we will, because technology changes all the time. We,
Yeah.
we want to be very agile.
So question, given my background and I tried to put iPads and different things in stores, it came down to, oh, where's the electrical outlet? And how are we gonna, there's a lot more to it than just, putting a kiosk in an aisle. I mean, how do you, how did you talk through this with your retail partners?
Well, we give them a lot of options, right? So at the core, PairAnything is a software company. That software, we can put it on a shelf talker, like you can access it by QR code, which we've done. And you can also embed that software inside, let's say, the grocery's own mobile app. We provide all those different options to use that software and be accessible in different ways, but also make it flexible to be integrated inside existing online or mobile platforms. We don't necessarily have to be the front end, but you're right.
So wait, that's interesting. So if I'm in Albertsons
Yeah,
grocery store, your software may be integrated with theirs?
exactly. That's what's exciting about it.
That is pretty cool.
And it could be the grocery's own apps. It could be Instacart, Uber Eats, right? We want to be that recommendation as a service that can be embedded inside any existing online and mobile platforms.
That's great.
But for
Yeah.
now, we have our kiosk, and yes, it needs power. And so that's why we have to partner with our retail grocery store. Even though the wineries have paved the way, we still have to look at the store layout and figure out the right place for that kiosk.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And then do you put it in front of the food, that you're buying, or do you put it in the wine aisle? I guess you just kind of learn what works for each location.
Correct. And we're actually doing that right now. We have a national brand. They want to roll it out. They have 400 stores. We're starting with one particular state. So it's really exciting. And what's nice is that everyone is aligned. They have to do something different. The old traditional way of marketing wine no longer works. All those little shelf talkers, the neck tags, even when they have those little placards with the wine ratings for today's.
Yeah. Well, there's so
Yeah.
many ratings that it's kind of gotten diluted.
And
Right?
for the younger people, it may not mean anything.
Yeah. Which Jim Labe just died. I just read that today or yesterday. Yeah. Did a lot he was young, 72.
Yeah, that's young.
That's really young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
Anyway,
that's why
sidebar.
sidebar, but that's why it's exciting right now, because we know that the industry is changing.
Mhm.
The consumers are driving the change, to be honest, and we're stuck in the traditional ways of doing things, which creates opportunities for us, right? And we have a lot of passionate people in this industry that's going to make it happen.
So explain how this would work. So who's your ideal winery customer, and does the retailer, what's in it for them? Do they pay also, or are they just sort of the the upside of this whole program?
So our ideal customer profile are the wineries, right? Which our sweet spot are really the small wineries, but we are in discussions with large wine producers. Where it makes sense is that they are having a hard time with their current marketing tools or strategies, that they need to stand out in front of their consumers. Basically, it's a problem of not connecting with their own ideal customer profile. How are they going to find them? How are they going to connect with them? And how are they going to put their brand in front of those customers? That's the problem that we're trying to solve. And right now, what's interesting is that there's already a marketing budget, the shopper marketing budget or market development fund, that they allocate to help sell their wines in the retail stores. We're just providing the digital alternative to that. Now, for the retail partners, what's in it for them? Well, when wine sales go up, of course, the grocery sales go up, right? So they would love any help, especially when they're shorthanded. Like you said, they may not have a wine steward in the aisle. They would love to have that help. And having a tool that creates a connected experience through shoppers is a game changer. And then additionally, if we're able to provide insights about their shoppers that they can't get anywhere else, what a humongous bonus that is. So down the road,
100%.
we can provide them this value add of the analytics. And that's something that we would love to co-create with the retailers and figure out how else we can add value to them. And it's all about, again, knowing the customer and how to create that personalized experience. And it starts with creating that connected environment, making that in-store experience elevated, but also to cultivate that return shopping experience.
Awesome. Well, should we show the presentation you created?
Yes.
Okay. I will get that ready. There's your favorite meal right here, chicken adobo. So for you that are listening, we'll talk through the presentation. It's just a few pages that we wanted to kind of walk through to get sort of a better idea of the program and how it works. So I guess this is an idea. This is a look of what it looks like inside once you get going. Okay. She's got some mom juice on here with we've got a dessert with apple caramel cheesecake. We've got with a rosé. We've got pulled tacos with a Sauvignon Blanc, and then Lake County Red Blend with the chicken adobo. Yummy yum. That looks so good.
So we talked about the challenge for the consumers, right? The walls and walls of wine. And this is how it is. Like you're faced with that. And
Yes.
if you advance to the next slide, so what I saw, first I had a consumer lens on, and I realized the industry is not talking to someone like me from a diverse background. Then I turned my lens and looked at it a different way. Imagine if it's hard for us consumers, what is it like for all the independent wine brands out there trying to reach out to consumers like me? And so I wanted to be able to make that connection through PairAnything. And so if you could advance, I'll quickly show you. What we have developed is we have our software that we now have in a kiosk. And with this kiosk, now we're able to learn about the wine. You can enter what am I having for dinner and to be able to come up with a specific recommendation that you can then purchase in the store. It's a very unique approach to you could personalize that shopping experience. In a way, having like a digital sommelier experience is how I would look at it. And so the problem that we're trying to solve really is now I know pairings can be very subjective. We're all unique. It's the reason why we ask a few questions just to make sure that it's not a generic response. And what we're trying to focus on really is to make it easy for shoppers who don't have a lot of time to research, what goes with what. We're trying to make it easy for them to make that purchasing decision.
Okay. Makes sense. Next slide.
Yes, let's continue. And so, as I had mentioned earlier, what we heard from our retail partners is that they're very much vested in trying to support wine sales, right? Because it has a like a network effect, right? When you put wine in a basket, it actually increases how much shoppers can spend because they're then picking up, oh, this wine goes well with like chicken piccata. Then I'm gonna go get my chicken in the grocery aisle, plus get all the different ingredients along with that recipe. Now, what's nice about this is that you've actually enhanced that shopping experience, and you've actually now created a unique connected experience because now they can scan the QR code on that kiosk to be able to maybe look at a recipe, or if they want additional pairing recommendations, they can also get that. So it's not just having
Do you have coupons?
we can't. I mean, that's something that we want to co-create with our retailers. How else do they want to extend the connected experience?
Yeah. Buy this chicken, get $1 off one way or the other. Yeah. Like increasing your basket ring.
So this is just we can play this and we can show it. You can see it in real life.
That looks pretty good. We're watching Christy eat sushi rolls and PairAnything.
That's what our wine partner, Swiss wine importer. And imagine how hard it is for most independent brands to have to now introduce a wine that's from a small wine producing country, Switzerland. And some of these varietals like Petit Arvin, not many people have heard of it. So we're able to help even those, let's say, obscure producers to actually stand out and find the ideal customer profiles that would appeal to that brand.
Yeah. I mean, that commercial just sold me, and it should sell every sushi operator in the country. That's
So
pretty awesome.
I mean, who would have thought that sushi would pair well with this sweet Swiss alpine varietal called Petit Arvin? That's pretty phenomenal.
It is.
And so on the back end, because we're analyzing what consumers or shoppers are searching, based on that user interaction with our software, we have this amazing ability to now analyze for the retailers and for the wineries themselves what their customers are preferring. And also we can provide to them what's trending. And that's something that's valuable for the retailers because they may not have that information. And I know even for the smaller regional stores, they don't have the ability to be able to know that much information. And so this is a great opportunity to not only just make recommendations and create an immediate sales opportunity, but to be able to have the trends and to now use this data to create an even more elevated experience. And that may actually help them how they want to run their wine and beverage program.
Okay.
So again, this is like another added benefit for our retailers is they don't have to use us on the wine aisle. We've done some prototyping where on the meat aisle, they can create a QR code that also makes recommendations. It all depends on the kind of experience that they want. We can be on shelf talkers, the aisle blades. There's many ways that they can use our software. We're just really taking their lead on where our technology can help make that wine buying decision easy. And from there, we can then make that recommendation, but also feed back a little bit more data about their shoppers.
Very cool.
And I'm really excited, that since we got our start, winning that UC Davis business competition, that we work with small producers, with large retailers, some really family owned, several generations of wineries that are trying to provide their handcrafted wine to the customers that can appreciate them, right? With all I would say, the mass marketed choices out there, I think as consumers, we crave for something that's kind of unique, something that maybe aligns with our values, with our maybe dietary preferences or health, and wellness preferences. So it's nice to have all these choices, but we want to be able to cut through all the noise or the different choices, right? To the overwhelmingness of assortments out there, and to make it easy for us to get what we want and to make that informed decision and to be happy with it. And what we're trying to do with PairAnything is to create enjoyment by making that purchasing decision easy. And how we do that is really helping the producers connect with their ideal customers. And we love to partner with retail partners that provides this benefit to their shoppers.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is certainly unique. It's something that is not out there in the marketplace. So, I mean, you've come a long way and have really developed a great opportunity. It couldn't come at a better time because people really do need something different to separate them from the rest. I mean, Constellation is now selling all their wine brands. Like, who would have thought? I mean, the world is just a different place, and we've got to adapt to it. And the wine industry needs to adapt to the current marketplace. And so, we got to ebb and flow. We got to be prepared for whatever can happen. I don't think anybody in the world ever thought Constellation would ever get rid of wine brands.
I mean, they're the second largest wine company out there, and their exit is sending shivers in this industry. And this is what I mean about how things are changing really fast. It's really important to be open-minded, to put
Yep.
our customers, the consumers first, and adapt to how we can best serve them. We're still gonna make these amazing products, handcrafted with a lot of passion. You need to align it with the consumers that can share and appreciate that passion.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I can only imagine that there's so many wine companies out there. I need you to connect you to Ben. Have I connected you with Ben Salisbury yet?
I know the name. Let's do that. I'm not sure. Yeah.
He'd be a great resource and vice versa for
Mhm.
your wineries. That's why I connected you with Isabel too,
She's
because I think
amazing.
I think there's some big synergies with what she's doing with the sensory data and analysis and scientific way to approach it. within your tasting rooms and how you could probably add a lot of that information into even your questionnaire.
Right.
You
And
know?
we're very much aligned, and I really appreciate that connection. We're very much aligned about the focus on consumer behavior and
Yeah.
the use of the software to be able to make informed purchasing decisions. And there's definitely a lot more thought and research to do that. And this is a reason why partnering with like-minded people that see it in a different way that
Right.
I do, and to partner, to come together so that we can do something even more compelling. Doing it alone kind of limits you because you only have one perspective. Partnering with someone with a different perspective creates like this magnifying effect. That's why I really enjoy talking to you, Jessie. I mean, you have this amazing platform where you're exposed to so many different amazing leaders in this industry, thought leaders, and you're able to distill that for the rest of us and to also be a power connector. I'm deeply grateful for that.
Good. I love connecting people where it makes sense. Like I just connected this brand here, Momo's Michelada Mix. They were at the state fair, and I don't drink beer, but I was like, okay, I'll try it. He's an entrepreneur in Texas. He's from Austin. Let me try it. Well, it turns out there's no tomato in here. It's all citrus, and it was the best um colada I have ever had. And so I'm like, well, maybe there's some synergies with this Go Brewing non-alcoholic company. I don't know if they do it, but I see things and I'm like, I gotta connect these people because there's synergies there, and it makes me happy to do so.
Well, I just want to highlight the way you express that and the passion. It's really inspiring because I felt your energy. It's like I want to make the world a better place. And that's what I'm sensing, right? And I could do that by connecting people.
Yeah. Like you're saying, it's better to do it with a partner. You know?
Everything is. Don't do anything alone. One, the journey, you don't want it to be lonely. And you're gonna put a lot of time into it. It's so much more fun if you could do it with others. And how great to co-invent with somebody to learn. I mean, there's a lot of learnings in
Yeah.
this journey, right?
A
And to
lot of
also
learning.
just, yeah, you know that. And we've spoken a couple of times. I've learned so much from you, and I really appreciate just you being a sounding board, you helping me connect the dots. And has been tremendously helpful in my journey.
Good. I'm glad I could be of help. That's awesome. See, that's what it's all about. If a winery wanted to get in touch with you or retailer, how do they get in touch with you?
They can get in touch with me on my website. They can obviously connect with me by email. It's Christy, CHRISTY at PairAnything.com. And I get called
And
upon to speak.
PairAnything.com is your website.
It's a website. Yeah,
PAIR anything. Yep.
correct. And I get called upon to speak at various conferences. So hopefully it's an opportunity to meet in person. And I'm really just a student and really aspiring to learn from as many people, just like you, Jessie. And
I
what
love to learn.
I love to learn as well.
And you've been killing it by getting out there. The amount of events and things that you're doing is really incredible. The amount of awards and celebration that you're really getting the business out there. That's really to be applauded. I think that's really amazing and the right thing to do to get out there and get, as many views as you can on what you're doing, especially there in wine country. So keep it up. Keep on keeping on. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we switch kind of over to mentors and resources?
No, you're very comprehensive. I think I love all your thoughtful questions. I think, yeah, that's good.
Okay, good. We hit all the corners then. All right. Well, let's start with mentors. Do you have any that you would like to call out today or talk about that kind of was an instrumental in any part of your career?
Oh my gosh, I've been so fortunate to get connected with the Botanage community. They run a mentorship program that I think is very groundbreaking because you have people that are further along in their careers, and they're able to, match you up with them. So when I got started with PairAnything, like I said, I was kind of new to the industry. I'm very fortunate to get connected to this top-notch community. And I got partnered with like amazing leaders in the hospitality, in the retail, learned a lot from them. In fact, one of my mentors was the head of adult beverages at Target, which obviously helped us open the door there and also allow us to create these amazing experiments, which helped feed into our product development. And also being able to talk to female winemakers has been amazing because they have their unique perspective. And I find it interesting that we have these inspiring female winemakers, and we know that wine, the majority of the wine purchasers are female, like 85%. In order to help some of these smaller producers that may be female owned, female led, why not mobilize, women empowering other women? I haven't quite figured that out, but I feel like if we can do a matchup of these amazing women, both on the consumer side and on the producer side, I think that would be a great way to help the industry forward. And then also in terms of mentorship, just trying to go back because I actually call upon them often. But one that stood out is the founder of Sia Scotch Whiskey. So not wine, but the Sia Scotch Whiskey. I really admire her, and she's been a great mentor to me because she's, Latina, again, a woman of color in the beverage industry. And I was very fortunate enough to win the Sia Scotch Whiskey competition to support um, up and coming uh, people of color entrepreneurs in the food and beverage industry.
Cool.
Just like UC Davis, I would say that was also part of my foundation. With a little bit of the grant money that I got from there, it really helped with a start. But not just the grant money, but the thoughtful mentorship that she provided to me early in my journey.
Nice. Awesome. All right. Well, what about resources? Any resources you want to share?
As a heel strapping entrepreneur, resources. I just was open to everything. There were several organizations and community. We mentioned, Techstars was a big accelerator for us. There was also the NASDAQ Entrepreneurial Center. As you may know, Jessie, they have the
Yes.
milestone.
Milestone circles.
Right. We're
Circle
milestone
sister.
circle sisters. Correct.
That's right.
And the other one would be the National Association for Women Business Owners. Imagine having a community, in my case, the Sacramento Valley chapter, being in a community of like-minded women business owners and entrepreneurs that know what it takes to build a business with limited resources or limited connections. Yet we're there for each other. It's a phenomenal feeling when you know that you're not alone and you have someone that you can lean on. So it's nice to be able to have that community. And so I would say, we all have resources that we may not be aware of, but definitely seek them out. I'm happy, to serve as a resource for others as well. I actively support many entrepreneurial programs in my community just because I know how much I benefited from it. I definitely would love others to have that same foundation to accelerate their journey.
Nice. What about pain points? Do you have any pain points that you've experienced that you've overcome that was, instrumental in PairAnything?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's the journey. It's a struggle.
Well, I don't know if it's exactly pain, but like the challenges that I encountered in a couple times really is honing in on that customer. Because you think you know your customer. Like I thought people like me are my customers, like the consumers. Then I realized consumers don't pay for an app. So that's not going to sustain the business that I'm building. You have to figure out who are the customers that are challenged, that are really looking to pay someone to solve their problem. So to me, that was like the biggest hurdle that I had to refine. Secondly, I know people say it's like limited capital. Jesse, you know this, like not having the resources, right?
Mm-hmm.
how I overcome that, and I still overcome this to this day, is you learn to be scrappy and resourceful. Just assume that you have no resources, no financial resources, yet you're still going to get it done. It's an opportunity for you to really be inventive, to be resourceful. I mean, that's what it means to be scrappy. You gotta always maintain that mindset that you're gonna succeed. You're gonna accomplish your dreams, hopefully with other people along the journey, but you are gonna make it happen. I absolutely believe that in me, that what I envision, I'm gonna make it happen because I absolutely believe what I can contribute to this industry, and I want to do it. How it's going to happen may take time or not. It's just a matter of experiencing all the ups and downs of this journey and just having the resilience to not give up.
Well, and that's, I was going to say, I've asked a couple of people to define what an entrepreneur is, and, it's true grit. It's hard. It's a struggle. It's determination. It's all the things that you got to believe in yourself, and you got to believe in your mission, and you got to believe in your company that it's going to work, because you got to convince everybody else it's going to too.
One thing I would adjust is for all of us, for me and for you and for others. For now, let's stop thinking that it's hard. Let's just not think about that it's going to be hard. Let's just assume that whatever is in front of us, we're going to accomplish and overcome. Let's put our intention that it's going to be easy, right? By enough of us thinking that, hopefully we manifest an easy path to our goals.
Yes. Yep. You just have to take one obstacle at a time. And then you focus all the energies, you manifest, you get it, you find a solution, and then you go to the next one.
And Jessie, I got you, right? And I hope that you got me too. But we're there for each other, and why would we not succeed, right? I mean, we're two amazing founders here, two amazing entrepreneurs trying to make the world a better place. Who would not want to support us?
Exactly. My thoughts exactly. What is your outlook? I know that we've kind of touched base on it a little bit, but do you have anything you want to talk about in terms of, the wine industry? Or even in terms of your own business?
So 3 years forward, what I envision really is the consumer has ownership of their preferences, right? Because right now we share a lot of data already. Each time we go online, each time we fill out a form, and we don't own that data. We relinquish it. Because of my background in technology and identity assurance and what I'm doing with PairAnything, I'm trying to imagine that, yes, we can create a personalized experience. We can help sell something that consumer would want, but why not give ownership of the taste preferences or any kind of preferences to the consumer, so that it's up to them that owns it, not some of the big tech companies. I don't know where how parenting will achieve that, but I feel like that's a little bit of where it's heading. We're trying to make recommendations that is catering or tailored to the consumer, but I hope there's a space and opportunity to empower the consumers as well to own their preferences, and they are able to share it with all their various vendors and partners. And it doesn't go to just one big tech company that kind of owns that data, and we're all kind of just at its mercy, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Awesome. Well, before I go to my last question, I'm going to just take a guess and, using the word assume that one of your passions is Remy Martin, Hennessy. You've got some good products back there. I'd love for you to give us a tour. Is that a Whistleberry?
Oh my gosh. So yes, we've talked about wine, but another passion of mine are definitely spirits, right? I'm very partial to bourbons, but of course, a cognac, Armagnac. My particular favorite right there is rum, particularly the Zacapa XO. I find it to be one of the best rums made from the Solera method. And you haven't even seen the attic. I have, I think, 600 bottles of wine and probably equal that amount in spirits. So it's the place to be for a party for sure.
Why do you have wine in the attic? Is it refrigerated or cool?
Yeah, there is. Yeah, it is. It's definitely cooler. I have a wine cellar that's obviously for the wine that keeps it refrigerated. But the cellar is the coolest place for us to put the spirits. If you have a favorite, I would love to see if I have it.
I wouldn't even know where to start. 1,200 bottles is amazing.
Yeah.
That's a great collection.
When I
The
see
problem
you,
is some of those wines, they don't last forever, but you
yes.
probably know you know what you're doing.
Well, I've been very fortunate that a lot of my wine friends have given me some. What I try to do is when I research something, like, because there's so many varietals out there, there's so many regions. I've been in 54 countries, but I'm sure there's still countries that I would love to visit. I try to study regions and then immerse myself. That's how I,
Yeah.
learn to taste different wines and also learn about the terroir and just the culture of that wine.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. That's really amazing. I didn't know that about you.
Well, I would love to
That's
surprise
really
you
cool.
next time I see you.
Okay, that sounds good. Any passions while outside of work?
I wish I could say that I'm a great cook. I'm not. I do know how to
But you
make.
enjoy it?
I do enjoy. I love food. I get, it's something that I get excited about. If we ever eat together, I get so immersed with all the different aromas. I want to learn the history of that dish. I want to learn about the person that prepared it. It's just something that's very fascinating because to me, food, like wine, connects us as people. And the sharing of the food together, it's what enriches us, it binds us together. So I find that very, very meaningful. The whole practice of eating is very meaningful for me. And like I said, I wish I'm a better cook, but I do like to be around people that love to cook. They're just like the most amazing people because I see the same passion in how they prepare it. They always do it with love. And who would not want to be around that?
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. Obviously, I'm in the same passion boat with F&B innovation
Of
and the whole
course.
thing. So I'm with you, girl. Yeah, it's making me hungry.
Yes, I can't wait to surprise you. What I think hopefully you'd like, and hopefully have an opportunity to make you the one and only dish that I know how to make.
Yes, chicken adobo.
Correct.
I'm excited. I'm very excited. That will be really awesome. One of these days,
We'll
one
plan
of
on
these
it.
days I'll get out of the cave, the office cave and see people in the real flesh. It's funny. I've met a lot of people I've never met.
We'll have to
Obviously through
make it a
podcasts,
point.
but
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, for sure. I had a chance and we missed it when you were in Dallas and
Yes, for the total solar eclipse.
yeah. Yeah, we ended up going out in the middle of the country. It was so fun. My wife's best friend from high school, her dad loves trains. And so there's a train track and we literally rode on trains all over this place. It was so fun.
I
And
love
then,
trains.
obviously I don't want to call it a cult, but it's a following. People
Yeah.
love trains and they go from train to place to train. So there's like 30 other people there that were, there just to watch the eclipse at the train area. It was so fun.
That is such a unique experience when you think about it.
Yeah,
And like you're
it was
combining
pretty
two
unique.
different interests, right? Like a phenomena,
Yep.
a natural phenomena, plus your passion for train.
And then my wife and I were in charge of drinks, so we made a couple of cocktails and it was fun. We weren't supposed to drink, but we hit it well or not, you know.
You were able to partake on your other passion.
We combined all the passions.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was fun. Well, Christy, this has been a delight. I'm so glad we finally were able to connect up and get you on the podcast and tell your story and get the word out there about PairAnything. I'm excited for you guys this year.
Jessie, thank you so much. You, as a friend, as a colleague, as a thought leader in this space, I just value you. Having me on this podcast is like a highlight. It's going to be the highlight of the year for
Thank
me.
you.
It is because it's being able to talk to someone of like mind, someone who absolutely inspires me and we get to talk about things that we're both passionate about. So
Yeah,
really the
for sure.
best conversation I ever had. So thank you.
Yeah. Well, you're welcome. You can come on anytime.
I will take you up on it. Thank you so much.
Alrighty. Bye-bye. Produced by Fedora J Productions. Tune in next Thursday and have a great week.